Hi, it's Penny here. Welcome to another reading vlog. This week, I'm finally letting myself read the books that I am most excited for on my monthly TBR. I'm going to be reading Fool's Quest by Robin Hobb, which is the second book in the Fits in the Fool trilogy, which is the final trilogy in the realm of the Elderlings. I'm only 2 books away from the end. I did already start listening to this audiobook, and within the first minute, I cried. So I can tell this is already going to be emotionally traumatic. I will say since then, in this book, there's a bunch of children in danger. Stupid adults have not yet realized that those children are in danger, even though they've had some hints. And they were just like, oh, probably not a problem. I'm like, guys, go and save the children. Stop mucking around with your stupid adult shit that nobody cares about. Anyway, I'm really enjoying being back in that world, and I'm already so engaged in it, I think, as you can tell. The other thing that I'm going to read in audiobook form after I listen to that is I'm going to pick up The Blood Mirror by Brent. So that's the 4th book in the Lightbringer series. So both the 2 exciting books that I'm reading on audiobook this week are second to last books in series. Just wait. In April, I'm going to read the last ones, and it's going to be amazing. So the Lightbringer series is this world where there's color-based magic, and certain people have the ability to draw on different colors, and different colors have different magical abilities. Some people can draw more than one color, and the black prism can in fact draw all the colors. Now, in a conflict before this series started, the brother of the black prism actually killed his brother and took his place. And we're following him as he tries to save the world while also dealing with the fact that people don't know that he's not his brother. He doesn't know secrets that he's supposed to know. It's a big problem. And there's a lot going on. I really like the tone. It's kind of humorous while also being quite serious. There's a lot of complexity to the world. We are, by this 4th book, actually following quite a big cast of characters, and they've all got their own issues going on, as well as this bigger conflict where the world is in danger. I'm really enjoying it. Maybe not quite as much as I love the realm of the Elderlings, but I will say every book in the Lightbringer series has taken things to another level, and so I'm really interested to see where he's going to take things in this 4th book. The other thing I will be doing is continuing my physical book for the month. At this point, I have doubts about whether I can get through this for the month. I am currently on page 364. There are 850 pages, so I've still got about 500 pages to read. I'm just really slow with this. I don't think I can finish it, but if I could get past halfway, I think I'd be happy with myself. This was supposed to be my last character building book for the Aurelium readathon, which I should have read by the end of the month. But honestly, I think if I can get halfway through, I'm just going to count that as a success, because half of this is pretty much a book in its own. In fact, I could just count the first part of the book. There's 4 parts in this book. I could have just counted the first part as the part that I was reading. But anyway, this is a really complex fantasy book. I do find it really hard to get through. There's a lot of different point of view characters happening, and everything that happens fairly slowly. And it's not always easy to see how everything is coming together into the bigger conflict. It's kind of just different people fighting over a kingdom, but at the same time there's this cataclysmic event potentially going to happen with this other race of people that were essentially exiled. We have these Ica kind of dragon people, but I think they're more like stone people. We have these people with mechanical wings. There's all sorts of other different kinds of magic going on. Magical portals, people using the celestial magic for potentially evil purposes, religious conspiracy and heresy going on. There's so much going on, but that's why it's so slow, and I'm not great at getting through it, but I am really enjoying it, so I will be continuing this as well. Other than that, I'm not sure what's happening this week. It's my second to last week of work, so I am getting to the point where I think things are getting less stressful, but I'm also trying to wrap everything up, so that's its own kind of stress, I guess. So we'll see whether I can get through the week without getting stressed out. Thank goodness I've finally finished work for the day, because I really want to get back to Fool's Quest. Last night I did not read any of my other book because I started listening to the audiobook while I was doing bits and pieces around the house, and then I could not stop listening to it. I think I'm still only about 20% of the way in, but I am loving it so much. I'm still frustrated, like they keep getting like really close to figuring something out, and every time they're almost there, something distracts them or they come up with some different way of thinking, and I'm like, come on guys. You need to make the connection. But then one of the times there was this new piece of information introduced that, like, I totally don't blame them for getting distracted by that. And also, I'm super excited about what this new thing is going to mean for the characters and just for the story, and like, just so much potential for this to change so many things. As well, there has been a crow character introduced, and we've barely even got to know them, but I already know I'm going to love them. And I know, stupid Evan. Okay, I'm back. I know that this crow character is going to be important because I was looking at this edition of Fool's Fate. This is the last book in the trilogy, which I got from a secondhand shop. It's got this really adorable message in the front. And as well, look at that. That's a crow. So crow is at least going to be in this book as well. I'm excited to get to know the crow. Also, I noticed there's a bee on the front of this cover, which means something as well. I'm really loving it. One thing I will note though is one of the characters has basically just come out of some kind of torture. And there was some of, I guess, the consequences of that being described, which I almost would describe as body horror. Like, it was pretty awful to listen to the audiobook for those parts. So if you're not a fan of body horror, you might want to skip through those bits, I guess. Anyway, I'm talking to you and I want to be listening to Fool's Quest, so I'm going to go and do that instead. Hello. So I have just finished a long day of work. It was not too annoying. I've only got 5 more days to go. Getting close, it's getting real. But also after I finished work, I told myself that I was not allowed to listen to Fool's Quest until I edited my video that I have been putting off. I actually meant to release it like a couple of days ago, but I haven't got around to editing it. So I made myself do that now, and then I'll try and get it up for you guys tomorrow my time, but like in the past, for whenever I finally get this vlog up. I haven't even edited my last vlog that I filmed. I'm very behind on everything. But honestly, the last couple of days, all I have done is finish work. I've been finishing work a little bit late, to be honest. I finished work, then I've kind of just done a little bit of housework, and then I've just listened to Fool's Quest all night. And despite doing that, I'm only just past halfway, because this is a really long audiobook, like a 33-hour audiobook. And often I listen to audiobooks at 2 times speed. This one I'm listening to it at 1.7 times speed because I feel like that's the natural speed for me and I don't need to rush it. So I'm just taking my time, enjoying it. What I will say is I am now getting a little bit frustrated because I want us to go on this rescue mission for these children. And when they first found out the children were in danger, finally, there were some good reasons why they didn't just rush off and try and save them straight away. And that was actually quite an interesting reason. But as time goes by, the reason for them to not rush off and stage a rescue mission is becoming flimsier and flimsier. And I want the emotional reaction. I want these guys to be like, oh no, our children are in danger, and run off and save them. And they're not. And I'm getting very impatient for that. Also, we are getting the perspective of one of these children, and they're doing okay, but also they're not in a great situation. Definitely trigger warnings for rape, I guess child abuse, just generally awful things happening. So we need that rescue mission. Come on. I'm a little bit worried that we're not going to get the rescue mission until like the next book. Can she really delay it for another 15 hours of audiobook? Surely not. Surely not. And anyway, I guess the only way to find out is to go away and listen to it. I'm not reading anything else. I'm not doing anything else. I'm just listening to this book because I want to get to the end of it. Shush trees. Goodness, those trees are always so loud. Good morning. So, we made it to the weekend. I will admit the last couple of days, I felt like work was taking up all of my brain power, and so pretty much all I did was work. I did manage to get one video up, which was Less than what I'd planned to do, but like, I made some progress. Oh my goodness, those bugs out there are all so noisy. I am sorry if there's background noise, but the door is open. It's a beautiful sunny day. So today is going to be a sunshine day. I feel like I just stopped talking in the middle of a thought and jumped to a different thought. And that's where my brain is at the moment. But anyway, I have been listening to Fool's Quest and I have been really enjoying it, but also I would say I don't feel like I got what I wanted out of it. So I finished it now and like I wanted this, I don't know, I wanted an emotional revenge quest. Even though I say I don't like revenge, but this revenge would have been very justified. And I think it's still coming, but like, oh, it's so slow. And the other stuff that's happening is interesting. I really love how this family has kind of built around Fitz and all these characters that we now know so well are trying to support him. And really, like, he's making much more emotionally mature decisions than he's ever made before, even though he's still making some stupid decisions. But I honestly, I want him to make way more stupid decisions because I just want him to really be feeling the emotions of it. And he is, but it's more like from a perspective of like grief. Nature is so noisy. So also like the ending. Last night I stopped about an hour from the end of the audiobook because I was just so tired that I felt like I was going to miss the ending by being asleep. So I finished it off this morning and I was 5 minutes from the end of the audiobook and I was thinking, how is this the end? Because it felt like we were in the middle of like a fairly action-based scene and also like we just started a new plot thread without really having wrapped up anything from what was happening before. So that was weird. It did kind of come to a sensible conclusion, sort of. Not really. It's definitely doing some really interesting stuff with the magic. We're getting a little bit of the dragons. There's some of the characters from the Dragon Keeper series, which is really nice to see them again and like see them from a completely different perspective. See them from the perspective of characters that don't even know them. One thing I will say though is there are so many different audiobook narrators through this series and I get a little bit annoyed with the different pronunciations. So this narrator tends to call Calcingra, and he always like stretches out the gra, and I'm like, can you stop that? And when we met Thymara from the Dragon Keeper books, he called her Timara, and that's not right. And there's just a few other ones as well where I'm like, can you guys not have some consistency with the pronunciation throughout the audiobooks? I mean, this is a really well-loved series. Like, surely they could have put a little bit more effort into the audiobooks. Surely getting the author to write a pronunciation guide or like checking certain pronunciations with the author wouldn't be too much to ask for. But still, I do in general really like the audiobooks for this series. I've read pretty much the whole series in audiobook form. I don't know, maybe when I do a reread at some point I'll do it physically. Honestly, that feels like a big undertaking, but maybe one that I would enjoy. Still, next month I am going to pick up the last book in the Realm of the Elderlings, and I'm super excited for it. I mean, things have to wrap up somehow. I'm sure we're going to get at least a little bit of like vengeance in there. We better, because some people did some bad things and they need to pay. There was definitely some people did pay already, but I think more people need to realize that what they did was wrong. Definitely there are quite a lot of trigger warnings in this. It can be quite brutal at some points. Shush trees! And also right at the end, we kind of had a lot of children with health issues, I guess, not really birth defects, but I guess children with health issues. If you're sensitive to that, then this last part of the book would probably be quite triggering. Anyway, I have finished that, and now it's Saturday. I really don't know why I thought that I would also be able to read The Blood Mirror this week, because clearly that's not going to happen. Today we're going to go out and enjoy the sunshine. Maybe tomorrow I'll start it, but it's a 20-hour audiobook, like a long one as well, so I'm not going to finish that this week. What I might try and do tomorrow is read some more of this. I haven't read any of it all week because I was just in Fitzland, in the Realm of the Elderlings. I had no brain power for this, but maybe tomorrow. But today is a sunshine day, so I'm going to go and enjoy the sunshine.
If you set yourself on fire, I never let you burn. I would smoke you till my lungs hurt and light you till I'm dirt. I'm not sure where all this goes. What I do know is I'll never let you go.
I don't know who these people are. Do you think I know all the authors?
Well, you should do. You know about books. What's that book?
Hello, so it's Monday night, which means I really ought to wrap this vlog up. I haven't really done that much reading since I last talked to you, so there's probably not that much to say. I did read a little bit of this, not that much, but in that time, we got dragons and merfolk and this like lion woman. There's like so many cool things going on in this book. I just really wish that I could focus on it, but every time I pick it up, I just find it so hard to read, and I've been trying to read it before bed, and honestly, the problem is that when you're lying down, this book is just too heavy, and so I'm like trying to read, like it's fine, you know, when you're lying down and you read this side's fine, but when I have to read the other side, I have to kind of lift it up, and it's the worst. So, maybe this is a book not meant for bed reading. Because I was reading it on the couch the other day and it was not that bad and I was able to focus better. This is a daytime book. That's what I've just realized just now. Okay, I'll take that lesson into the next week. The other thing that I have started doing is listening to the audiobook of The Blood Mirror by Brent, the fourth book in the Lightbringer series, and I'm really liking it. I'll probably save most of my thoughts for my next reading vlog. What I will say is right at the beginning, there was like a summary basically telling you all the important events from each book. So it gave you like a summary of the world, and then it was like, in book 1, these things happened. In book 2, these things happened. And it was written like not completely dryly, like there was definitely the tone of the book inserted into this retelling. It was a very good recap. Reminded me of a lot of things that I've forgotten, even though I've only been reading this series over a short period of time. And I really wish all series would do that. Like just a really good recap at the beginning. Come on. We don't have time to be remembering things or going back and rereading. Just give us a recap. Be kind. I think more books have been starting to do that. And I think it's a great trend. Anyway, I guess that was my reading week. I would say I'm a little bit disappointed in how Fool's Quest went. I think I only gave it 4 stars instead of 5 stars. Although it was only just a 4 star, almost a 5 star. But like if it had just made me cry a few more times, it would have been a 5 star, which is bizarre because actually it made me cry in that first minute, right? But I think just sometimes I wanted Fitz to really lose control of his emotions. And I didn't get that as much as I wanted. And even though a lot of the stuff that was happening was interesting and was emotional, it wasn't like those kind of things that just make me like feel heartbroken. And I don't know, even there was one thing that happened that potentially could have been heartbreaking, but 1, I didn't believe it, and 2, it just wasn't written in a way that made it hit me as hard. I don't know. I still really liked it, but I think I like the first book in the trilogy first. So I'm really hoping that third book is gonna loop back round to the emotional trauma of the first book in the trilogy. Fingers crossed, anyway. So that was my week. Thank you for hanging out with me. As usual, let me know if you've read any of these books, what you thought about them, or let me know if you're interested in reading them. Otherwise, thank you for watching. I hope that you are doing well, and I will see you next time.